What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Well, you guys know that I've been putting up many videos now about things that I'm finding that cause cancer. They're actual carcinogens. I made a pretty bold statement quite a while ago, and it was, there's more cancer now than when I was a kid. Like, there's more cases of cancer, that's a tongue twister, now than ever before. And when I overlooked the different graphs, you could see the spike, or not spike, but a gradual increase, and then spike, gradual increase, spike. So it's been on the increase, right? Matter of fact, I just read this article that said basically, and this is crazy to think about, because we think that the treatments have come farther, and cancer treatments would keep you alive, and they're more effective now than they were 20 years ago. But as a matter of fact, the stats actually show, if you look them up, that if you got cancer today, in 2019, you have just as much chance of living or not living through the treatments and stuff as in 1920. Like, literally, there's really been not much progress in cancer treatments that's survivable. So that stuff, I mean, I'm looking at it going, something is off. So I started delving into this stuff. I found foods that contain things that are carcinogens that people didn't know about, air fresheners, I mean, deodorants, you name it. Things that absolutely are carcinogens that we put in our body every day. And people got like pissed because they're like, Jerry, it's just a little bit, and it's fine. The thing is, you're not taking just one thing. It's not just the deodorant. You're using the deodorant, you're putting fucking food in your body that have carcinogens in it. You're wearing perfumes and colognes that are carcinogens. You're hitting yourself from so many angles that you are way more likely. They said 1 in every 5 people, like 20 years ago, would get cancer. And now it was down to like 1 in every 3. So like there was something going on, and I found something today. I had no clue, and I actually had it in my fucking medicine cabinet, and I'm pissed at myself for not doing research, because I've used this product for years. And that is Ranitidine, the acid reducer Ranitidine, aka Zantac. I had no clue that this stuff causes cancer. I had zero fucking clue until I found the article today, and it came out September 19th. They actually posted the article on truthaboutcancer.com. I'm just going to read it right off the thing because all the information is there. If you guys want to look this stuff up, Ranitidine, Zantac, cancer. Those are the key words. Look it up. Knock yourself out. People who take Zantac or similar drugs to combat heartburn may be unknowingly giving themselves cancer. Last week, which this came out a couple days ago, on the 19th of September, the FDA announced that it had detected cancer-causing contaminant called N-nitrosodimethylamine, or not MDMA, NDMA. Two different things. Ecstasy and different. In Ranitidine heartburn medications. But the FDA fell short of ordering a recall. This is super interesting, right? And it wasn't until a week later that distributors began to pull the drugs off shelves in response to the discovery. So it says this girl's name is Sandofi, who's doing this article. She went on to say that Zantac has been around for over a decade and meets all the specified safety requirements for use on the over-the-counter market. At the time, Koss stated that Sanofi had no plans to recall the drug. Sanofi. Excuse me. So Sanofi is the company name. Excuse me. The spokeswoman's name is Ashley Koss. I apologize. I thought Sanofi was her last name. Sanofi is the company. So it says that at the time, Koss stated that Sanofi had no plans to recall the drug. But as evidence and consumer outrage grew over the following week, pharmaceutical company Novartis decided to stop the distribution of its generic Zantac drugs in all markets. At the time of publishing, Sanofi and the FDA had still failed to issue a recall. So the company that makes it, that says it's okay, but the companies that are pushing it out there, that are distributing it, they're taking it off. But the company that produced it is like, fuck it, leave it on there. And the FDA is like, fuck it, leave it on there. But the company that's distributing it was like, fuck, this is bad, we got to take it down. So you actually have the companies that are involved with the selling and distribution of it pulling it off the market, when the company that makes it in the FDA like, no, just keep it on there, fuck it. So this is not the first time that NDMA, not MDMA, has been found in popular drugs. Last year, blood pressure medication valsartan, sold under the brand name Diovan, was also found contaminated. In that case, the FDA issued a voluntary recall of the drug, citing the risk for developing cancer. So why the fuck would you take a blood pressure medication off the market, but the Ranitidine you wouldn't? Well, the Ranitidine is sold in such large amounts compared to the blood pressure medication over the counter. Think about how many millions or billions of people in the fucking world use an over-the-counter medication as opposed to getting something prescribed by a doctor. There's so much money to be lost. They left the one that's being sold over the counter on the market, took the prescription one off the market. Millions of people take ranitidine, so it's not billions, it's millions, to relieve symptoms of heartburn and other gastrointestinal issues. But the potentially life-threatening drugs can still be found in pharmacies across the United States, Canada. In Canada, health officials have requested a stop to all distribution of the drug, making the only country which Sanofi has ceased distribution. NDMA, not MDMA, we're going to make the fucking statement, is an industrial byproduct that can often be found in cured meats like bacon. The FDA says it's reasonably safe to ingest up to 1 microgram a day. 1 microgram. This is where people get it twisted. Well, Jerry, it's safe because, listen, 1 microgram, not a milligram, a microgram. Think about how little that is, right? But safety testing has found levels significantly higher in last year's the blood pressure medication was 17 micrograms, right? But get this, Zantac and ranitidine, this shit right here, remember, 1 microgram is safe, 3,000 micrograms. That's what's in the product, 3,000. 1 microgram safe, 3,000 is gonna give you cancer, and it's in there. You use this shit regularly, you will get cancer, period. That is just another thing that I'm talking about. Another thing that we're taking, we don't fucking know what it does, right? But now we're finding out because people are starting to test these things. People are actually starting to, like, they can't stop the internet. Back in the day, they could definitely put out propaganda, just shift this shit to any way they wanted to get the result that they wanted, to keep selling this shit and killing people, and it didn't matter. The internet, they can't fucking stop it. Word spreads too fast. They can't block everybody talking on social media about shit, and that's what's happening now. So he said, the Velisure petitioned the FDA to recall all forms of ranitidine, though the agency has yet to take any of such measures. They claim that the NDMA may be inherent in the ranitidine molecule and have urged regulators to recall the drug until the safety can be guaranteed. How many people have been using this shit for a fucking decade or 2 decades? Like, this shit has been around a long fucking time. Matter of fact, Prilosec, I've looked into that one too because I know stomach cancer is linked to Prilosec also, but that actually caused, some of these other stomach pills cause bone loss. I mean, let's just fucking keep going on this, right? I get all fucking on a tangent because it bothers the fuck out of me this is able to go on in America, which is supposed to be a fucking place that's safe, right? We rely on the government to keep us safe, the FDA to keep us safe, and they don't give a fuck. So it's the spokesperson said the FDA will take appropriate measures based on the results of the ongoing investigation. Oh, now they're going to do an investigation. Well, what's the investigation? You have 1 microgram is okay to consume. You have 3,000 of the product. One investigation. You get that off the fucking shelves before you start the investigation. You don't leave it up there for people to still keep consuming and then start an investigation. So they failed to recommend that people use the drug and stop taking it. Instead, they simply suggest that the alternative medicines are available. This is the same profits over patients approach that we've seen repeatedly in our regulatory bodies. Safety testing, especially for generic drugs, is significantly lacking. So, I would have never thought, this is generic, it's not Zantac, it's the ranitidine. I would have never thought from a brand name to a generic, I mean, that they're supposed to be the same fucking thing, one just costs less. No, they're actually different testing procedures. There could be shit in the generic that's not in the brand name, which is fucking crazy, right? The drug safety advocate whistleblower who exposed corruption in quality control has an executive at Ranksbury Labs. He says the FDA is not doing enough to protect consumers. I think there's a good example of how our regulations need to change. Things like this will never get caught unless somebody actually actively looks for this stuff. Meanwhile, a lack of oversight and testing standards has resulted in pharmacy shelves filled with drugs that can literally kill you. The FDA knows that Zantac has been contaminated with a carcinogen. Sanofi knows that something has gone terribly wrong with one of their flagship drugs, but the money is too good to recall them now. Zantac was the first drug to total $1 billion in sales. The first drug. In 2018, the drug generated nearly $130 million for Sanofi. But a new class action lawsuit filed earlier this week claims that the French drug makers have known the risks all along, hiding them from regulators and consumers in order to maintain profits. The suit claims that each 150 milligram tablet of Zantac contains 26,000 times the FDA-approved daily limit of NDMA. 26,000 times the acceptable limit. So Steve Berman, the lead attorney for the case, believes that consumers have been intentionally put in harm's way. Millions of people in the U.S. suffer from heartburn, and for years, Zantac has been sold to the masses as a safe and easy-to-find remedy for that common ailment. We're certain that if those millions of consumers knew that Zantac they take contains known carcinogens, they would rightfully be outraged. Sanofi knew that Zantac contains carcinogen, yet it chose to conceal these risks to the public to line its own pockets. Had defendants disclosed Zantac's results and the unsafe levels of MDMA in the human body, no person, let alone reasonable person, would have purchased and consumed Zantac. But all the statements from the FDA and Sanofi basically say the same thing. We care about consumer safety. We're looking into it. This isn't the first time that drug manufacturers have hidden risks and lied to the public in order to line their own pockets. Johnson & Johnson knew there was an asbestos in their talcum powder. Do you guys remember the whole, baby powder causes cancer? Because there's asbestos in it. Juul Labs marketed their e-cigarettes to children only to destroy the evidence when confronted. Opioid manufacturers bribed doctors and lied about safety, causing an epidemic that claimed tens of thousands of American lives each year. We could call the FDA lapdogs for big pharma. We could say that the whole system is corrupt, with parents' approvals and leadership bought and paid for with blood money from the industry. But we don't need to. All we have to do is show you the numbers. In the last 40 years, only one FDA commissioner has failed to secure a high-paying job in the pharmaceutical industry. The most recent departure, Scott Gottlieb, took a lucrative job on the board of Pfizer. A study published earlier this year found that 17% of the cancer drugs approved by the FDA used suboptimal control arms, leading the approval of expensive cancer therapies that don't show any real benefit to patients. 17% of the cancer drugs that are approved show zero benefit in any study out there. The data shows zero benefit, but they make you sick as fuck and they may kill you right before the cancer does, and they're on the market. Wow, fucking wild, right? Sony Perdue is the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, seems to be the only regulatory authority in the world who still claims that glyphosate is safe, despite hundreds of studies to the contrary, evidence presented in court that shows Bayer Monsanto executives actively tried to hide cancer in the Roundup connection. Perhaps the coincidence is that Perdue is a former fertilizer salesman who has received hundreds of thousands of dollars from the agricultural industry. A new expose has shown that many top-selling smartphones exceed federal limitations. FCC Commissioner Ajit Pai worked with the telecommunications industry before his appointment. Former FCC heads have literally won awards for their efforts lobbying the industry. I mean, this thing goes on and on and on to talk about how much bullshit corruption there is. But my thing is, fuck that, all that other shit. We'll get to that another time. My thing is cancer, right? I mean, all of us have been around someone who's had cancer, who's died of cancer, who's gone through the treatments. My father, my mother, my aunt, you name it. My cousin has had breast cancer. I mean, it just one person after another. My grandmother died of uterine cancer. These are things that possibly could be avoided. And my thing is, people are going to go well, Jerry, what are you supposed to do? Just sit in the house and fucking do nothing? No, you dumb fucks. What is wrong with you? The idea is to fucking arm yourself with knowledge so you can limit as much of this bullshit as possible so that you have better odds of not fucking dying a horrible, painful death of cancer. What the fuck? I had a big talk on Instagram today, my Instagram Live, and Tanya Miller, who's been a friend of mine for years, she actually had a problem with reflux, acid reflux. And she, would take the Ranitidine and bullshit like that, but she looked for a more natural means. Something, and was telling her, there's got to be a better way, a more natural means. She used something that I've known about, many people have known about, apple cider vinegar. With each meal that she had, she took a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with a little bit of water, or however much she took. And that absolutely takes care of acid reflux, acid indigestion. It's a natural remedy that costs fucking pennies per day, and it's legal, and it's in your fucking grocery store. And it works, hands down. And, my thing is, for somebody to be taking something like this, myself included, right? When do I take it? When I eat spicy food that I can't digest. So I don't necessarily have a reflux problem, but I have it on hand in case that shit happens, right? My cheat days and stuff. Well, the problem is, if you haven't diagnosed why you have that reflux, this is a Band-Aid, right? So you have an underlying disease or an issue. This is a Band-Aid so you don't feel it. You're masking. You're not getting through to what's really going on, the real problem. So first thing is line of defense is to find out why the fuck you have reflux. And when you find out why, then they can maybe cure it, figuring out why it came about, what's going on, is it genetically, whatever the case may be. Are you lacking nutrients? Whatever is going on. Are you eating a diet that your body can't digest? What the fuck is going on? That can be changed, right? But instead, they put out these drugs like this. These drugs that fucking cause cancer. 100%. The NDMA causes cancer, and it's in 3,000 times the amount. In the Zantac, it's 26,000 times the amount. That's considered safe. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? Could you imagine? Let's look at the cigarette industry, the fucking tobacco industry, right? Think about if they said, well, there's only enough in there, it was only enough carcinogens in those fucking cigarettes that would be safe. We deem it safe because it's a certain amount. And then you tested it, had 26,000 times the amount. No wonder why everybody's fucking dropping dead of lung cancer, but not everybody does. But you guys I'm being extreme to point this out to get you guys to really fucking think that I was fucking right. There is more cancer now. It's not due to more diagnosis because we have better ways of diagnosing. That's the dumbest fucking thing. Like, if you're one of those people who think, well, you diagnose it better now, are you so fucking stupid that you think back in the day when I was a kid, because he couldn't diagnose it as well, that the cancer in people, when they had it and they were sick and went to the doctor, they didn't diagnose it, that the cancer fucking went away? No, the person fucking died, and upon trying to figure out the cause of death, they find out they had fucking cancer, which means the family's told that they have cancer, and then fucking it spreads through the family that we all know the person died of cancer. But that's not what was happening. Less people were fucking dying of cancer. There was less cases of cancer, period. It has jumped fucking 100-fold since I was a kid, and it's steadily on the incline because of shit like this, and you don't believe it? Look up the fucking information. I'm tired of being the only one out there that actually understands that this shit is fucking real. I mean, there are several people that have hit me up in the last few days going, Jerry, I looked into this, I looked into that. Holy fuck, the information's out there. You're right. Like, there's data, there's scientific studies, there's doctors, there's fucking scientists telling you, stay away from this, stay away from that, don't do this. Like, what the fuck? And I know a lot of people out there be like, well, Jerry, what am I supposed to be? Don't be fucking ignorant. Don't be so fucking stupid and say, well, Jerry, I have acid indigestion, so I have to take this. So I might as well fucking smoke cigarettes, lay in the fucking sun, put air fresheners, put aluminum. Like, you think because, well, you have to fucking do one thing, that everything else in your life, you don't have to, you go, oh, just fuck it, like whatever. It's like they have the same thing with the diet. Oh, I fucking ate one piece of chocolate, I'll just fucking pig out for the rest of the fucking day. No, you have that one piece of chocolate, you stop yourself, right? You're gonna take that one fucking thing that may be a carcinogen, well, eliminate the rest of them from your fucking life. Cut them out. We took the fucking Glade plugins and shit and fucking tossed them out of our house. It used to smell like fucking flowers and shit here, and now we use scented oils. Actual scented oils that smell good. Right? Like cologne, I use fucking essential oils that fucking smell good. Like, you don't understand. Like, you don't have to be, and again, if you don't believe it, fucking do it, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear one fucking word when you get diagnosed with something that's fucked up and you're in the hospital fucked up. I don't want to hear a word. The worst thing that I fucking hate in my whole life is when people get told, don't do this or this will happen. They go, yeah, fuck you. And then they do it, it happens. You're like, what the fuck? Poor me. No, not poor you. Fuck you. You're the asshole out there who's not paying attention when you're the people that rely on science. People with lab coats, all of a sudden, when they say something, becomes gospel. This shit's coming from lab coats. This is not fucking, these are companies that are fucking pulling shit off shelves. These are companies that are fucking doing damage control. They're companies that are getting sued in a court of law and losing. And you're sitting there going, fucking, you don't believe it? How far could you have your head up your ass to not understand this shit? Like, I can't even fucking fathom the fact that this information is there and I'm the one digging it up. Me, the guy who used to be on fucking heroin, the guy that everybody thinks is a fucking nut because he's like, something is going on here, something's not right. No, I just opened my fucking eyes and looked around me and said, what the fuck is all this? I became observant. I started to observe people and things that are going on around me. I started to observe trends, right? It's like watching the stock market. If the stock market's doing this, well, why is it doing that? You fucking understand it, right? Well, I saw cancer doing this and I didn't understand it, so I studied it. And the more research I do and the more study I'm pulling out shit all over the place and I'm giving you the information and I'm hoping to God that some of you at least understand it and take it and fucking run with it. You do your own research. You start making better decisions. Like my wife, we saw all the fucking aluminum that was in deodorants. That causes cancer. We are not supposed to have that in our fucking bodies in high amounts. So we have new deodorant. Matter of fact, Mike Rashid was the first one to actually show me some non-aluminum deodorant. And fucking we switched it. Now, is that going to make a difference? Yes, it's going to make a difference. Is it going to stop cancer? Who knows? It might be too late. But the bottom line is, I'm not one of those people out there going, well, it's too late. I already fucking been using it my whole life. No, it's never too late to change. I mean, it's the same fucking thing. Well, it's too late. I've been fat my whole life. No, you don't have to be fat the rest of your life. You don't have to be skinny the rest of your life. You don't have to do fucking take cancer-causing fucking products the rest of your life. You can smarten the fuck up, minimize the damage from here on out, and hopefully be fucking better off in the long run. But don't bury your head in the stands. Take it out of your ass and pay attention and do your own fucking homework. Go out there and Google cancer, ranitidine, fucking Zantac. Google it. Or NDMA, not MDMA, not the fucking ecstasy. NDMA, cancer. Look that shit up. And fucking sit back and be like, fuck, I mean, some of you don't care. You go about your days and like, oh, I gotta go fucking to work and see my friends and go to happy hour. Then bam, one day, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, you have cancer. I don't know what that feels like. Knock on wood. I don't want to know what that feels like. I know what it felt like when my dad was diagnosed. On Friday, he was diagnosed. You have terminal cancer and have 2 weeks to live. In less than 24 hours, my father was dead. I didn't even get back home to see him. Cancer hit him that fucking hard and took him down. He was fucking riddled with cancer and the doctors lied about it. Like, there's a whole big thing going on out there. They robbed us of the final weeks and months of his life by not telling us what the fuck was going on. Do you know how many things my father probably consumed? I mean, he drank milk like it was his fucking job. He was like part cow, it seemed like he drank so much milk. Milk causes fucking cancer, period. Go over there and Google milk and cancer. Does milk cause cancer? Fucking Google it. It's real. But don't go out there and think that this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter until it does. And when it does, you're in a fucked up spot, scrambling, trying to save your fucking life or save your health or save a loved one's life because you're too fucking ignorant to pay attention and actually make the fucking decisions to take the steps to try to be better. Yes, you got to rearrange your life. Yes, it's a new fucking lifestyle. But let me ask you a question. When you get cancer, you're going to rearrange your lifestyle then. Trust me. You're going to change everything around because you don't want to fucking die. When death is looking you in the fucking face, you change a lot of fucking things about your life. But why the fuck do you have to wait? You want to wait till death is looking you in the fucking eye before you change and live a better life? What the fuck? Do you have kids right now? Are you pumping this shit in your body when you have kids? You want to leave those fucking kids behind? Are you giving your fucking kids this? I mean, what the fuck, guys? I can't wrap my head around how many people just don't fucking listen. And that's what they're banking on. These fucking companies are banking on you guys not listening. They're banking on the propaganda they've been putting out for fucking years that you listen to because you listen to the talking box, the heads on the talking box, and all the fucking news and all the bullshit telling you, like, these drugs all over fucking TV. Ask your doctor if so-and-so is right for you. Fucking side effects can include death, anal bleeding, eyeball bleeding, and you're like, eyeball bleeding, anal bleeding. Let me ask my doctor. Like, you don't even fucking think about it, and they go on the fucking drugs. Are you shitting me? Every drug that's on TV, those side effects? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll die before I take that. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be miserable as fuck with anal and eyeball bleeding, and then I'll eventually fucking die. Fuck it. I'll deal with it. I'll just die eventually with no anal and eyeball bleeding. What the fuck? But you're literally given this propaganda and this information to keep you coming back and getting these drugs, and these drugs cause more ailments, and the more ailments they cause, you go on another drug for that, and then you get fucking cancer, you gotta go on more drugs for that, and it's fucking big business. You're getting pumped full of fucking drugs. Like, some people wouldn't even consider this a drug. It's like over the counter, like aspirin. It's not. It's a fucking drug, and it's a powerful drug that can give you fucking cancer. So it's time right now in 2019, wake the fuck up. BioStrength@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com's blog. It's the wake the fuck up bicep, please. And we are out.